Okay, and we're live. Right, sorry for the delay. If you're in the chat, you'll know that Z's just sorting himself out with some food and stuff. He's not long been in from work, so he's just getting himself ready. Oh, hang on. Need to pause that. So I just need to sort out sending Zahir a link so he can join us. Hassle. Right, let's find this chat and I'll send Zahir a link. So thanks for joining me. I'll go and say a few hellos in the chat in a second. Let me just drop Zahir this link. Riveting viewing, I'm sure. Right, that should work. Right, cool. So Z should be along shortly with a bit of luck. Let me just get back to the chat and see who's hanging around in the chat room. So, right, hi Christian, Brett, Michelle, Chelsea, Andrew, Hicksy's in there. Hi mate. I'm sure I saw Caroline. Yeah, Caroline, Kay, Fabian, all sorts of people. So welcome along. If you've only just joined us, Zahir is running a little bit late, so I thought I would kick off because I knew a lot of people were waiting for me to start. And as soon as Zahir joins us, we will have our regular TAT chat. We don't have a special guest this week. It's just me and Z winging it and taking questions from the chat room. So Steve Green's in there, Peter Crawford, Flower Girl 64, good evening to you too. Nicholas, David. Question, did you pick up any more NES Mini Classics? No, I didn't. I've kind of not been on the ball with that. I know some people managed to get some from Amazon. Some other people got some from other websites. I've just been snowed under with that massive haul really, and I haven't really been too bothered about finding more. Game did let me down on my first pickup, and they promised to send me more, but I don't know if they're going to come through. And I didn't hold out on my first lot like I said I would either. I saw prices fluctuating and going up and down, so I just quickly shifted my first batch and got 150 roughly back on all of those. Someone else has asked, W Splays or WNS Plays, are you planning a Christmas special? Yeah, we're thinking we're going to do another one. I don't know if you guys saw it, but we did a TAT chat special where we did the prices right, and it was so much fun. It was really quite easy to organise, and yeah, was really enjoyable to do. So I'm thinking I'm going to do another one of those and get a bunch of the YouTubers on again. So that's the vague plan, and see if someone else can beat Caroline this time. Oh, it's so cool to see your little dealy boppers, Caroline, by the way, in your video. Glad they turned up okay and the postman didn't destroy them. There's lots of chat going on. Game cancelled all my July pre-orders. Yeah, well, they cancelled half of mine. I actually phoned them up and complained, and they promised to fulfill everything else around the start of December, so any day now, but I just get the feeling they were just fobbing me off, to be honest. Yes, more prices right. Well, that's the plan, and of course you are welcome to join in, Caroline. So yeah, we'll try and get that organised and do it as near Christmas as suits everybody. So yeah, can't wait for that. Let me just see if Zahir has replied to me, how he's getting on. I'll just turn him off started. How are you getting on? So yeah, I hope sales have been good for everybody. Things have been really good here. eBay has been going great guns with the haul stock. These are tripods from that haul. I sold one of each size actually. I've got 3 different sizes for tripod from that haul, and they're selling both on Amazon and eBay. I sold a few of these tiny ones on eBay and sent the rest up to FBA, and I've sold out already. was about 20, 25 of those. So they have pretty much all gone now. The few I'm selling on eBay have got damaged boxes. So yeah, they've been good. I just cleared all of my Disney. You may have seen a picture on my Facebook. I listed all of my Disney DVDs. They've been selling super fast. Most of these here are Disney DVDs. And then I've done a few mega bundles. I've actually done one bundle bigger than I've ever done, which is 50 Disney DVDs. Most of them are pretty bog standard ones though. So I've asked £100 for that, see if that works. So yeah, that's what's been going on with me. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Nothing happening yet, or is it just me? Can nobody see me? I'm hoping people can actually see me. Can you guys see me? Put something in the chat. Oops. I should be live. I just don't have Zahir with me because he's running a little bit late. Someone's just asked. Oh, Steve Hicksey says, "What's?" Oh, hang on. Chat's moved on. What's he having for his tea? A horse? I have no idea. He did tell me he was very hungry, so I don't know how long he's going to be. Hi Nick, can you do a full run through one day of picturing an item and how you list that item? I've been asked to do a video so many times of how I list an item, but it's, I don't know, I just do it the same as everybody else. I have no magic formulas, you know. It would seem to be a really dull video to me. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it one day, but it just seems, I have nothing to offer. I don't do anything amazing. My photo setup is down here. I've just got some pretty basic lights and a little wooden background. I take the pictures and then I just do it all. These days I do it straight on eBay, so I don't have any, you know, fancy templates or any extra tips or hints. So maybe one day, but I can't see that it would be an interesting video. My Pat Crat is in there. That's Joe. Hi mate, good to see you in here. I can see you. Yes, I can see. Oh, okay, so I am live. I'm just on my own. I'm flying solo until my wingman Z gets here. Okay, fantastic. Another question come in from Taz. Did you get any deals on Black Friday? No, I didn't even bother really looking. Black Friday last year was a big letdown regarding deals that you could flip. At least it was for me. And as I said just before, I have so much of this mega haul stuff that is filling up the office and taking up my time. So I'm not too fussed about getting in on any more RA, to be honest. So no, I don't know how anyone else has done with finding anything to flip from Black Friday, but it's not something I've been that worried about this year. How are you doing with your FBA? Yep, fantastic. Going really well at the moment. I sent another shipment up today, which was another batch of tripods because they've started selling really well up there. So I'm trying to send a load of these up. I sent a load of the really big ones up today. And I sent a load more media with it as well. So that all went up today. But yeah, FBA is really kicking off. They're very level at the moment. Turnover wise, eBay and Amazon for us are doing kind of equal numbers, and then very few things, but a few things are selling on Etsy. You may have seen that Snoopy plush, which was just crazy. I couldn't believe that was totally Andrea's pickup, Andrea's listing. I don't do anything on Etsy at all, and she told me she was listing it at 50 quid, and I kind of inside my head I was thinking that's just ridiculous. There's nowhere on earth that's going to sell. And lo and behold, a lady in New York has bought it and it's gone. So amazed. Ooh, we have a ka-ching. Someone's bought 5 mousetrap ball bearings. So yeah, for those of you that are just joining me, Zahir is joining us, but I'm not sure when. Hopefully any minute now. He's just having his tea. What else have we got in here? Nick, is that Weetabix yours? Weetabix. Oh, this. Can you see that? This is Meccano. It's the junior Meccano, like the plastic stuff. I bought a box, similar size box to this, at the boot sale, just all random bits, and paid, I think it was £4 or £5. And I just didn't build it up, didn't check it or anything. I just sold it as parts and got 20 with £5 shipping on. So that's what that is. Had nothing back from Zahir. We'll just have to assume that Zahir is joining us at some point once he's finished his tea. In the meantime, I will just chat with you guys. If I can find it again. Here we go. So yeah, the Weetabix, yeah, that's Meccano in there, not Weetabix. Someone else, DJ Stone, do a video in the life of a product. Or as in from buying it through listing it to sending it out. I could try doing that, but I'm not sure how interesting that would be, or that I have anything special to show you. I just listed exactly the same way as everyone else. Oh, something else sold. Ah, that's cool. I've got loads and loads of camera bags. These things. I've got a few big boxes full of these. These all came from that mega haul. They're quite a good brand. This is Low Pro. I don't know if you can see that there. And I really didn't think there'd be much in these. I didn't pay a great deal for these at all, like very, very little. I've just sold one of these for, I think, £18 with shipping. These are slightly bigger ones. So like for SLR cameras or for little handy cams, that sort of thing. And I've got loads of those. I haven't sent any up to Amazon. I'm not sure they were actually listed on Amazon, so that's all on eBay. But yeah, I'm really pleased they started to go because they're so bulky. I don't know if you can see, but these boxes here are huge and they're just rammed with these camera bags. So I'm hoping I'm going to shift a lot of them before Christmas. What have we got? Maybe run a video from getting the item to the research for the item, showing what you do to list, talking through the steps. Okay, so there's a... People want me to do that. Okay, I might have a go at doing that. I'll have to find an interesting item and do the life cycle of a sale. I might have to do it over a week or so, from finding an item, researching it, photographing it, listing it, packaging it, and sending it out. So okay, yeah, all right. That does sound interesting. Okay, we'll do that at some point. Don't expect it in the next few days. Jordan asks, how is Andrea doing? She's fine. On Tuesday evening, she goes and visits her nan. She has a 90-year-old nan who lives not far from us, and she goes and spends the evening with her every Tuesday and takes Ellen, and they all go up there and have tea together. So, yeah, she's not here right now, but she's doing well. She's busy on eBay listing kids' clothes, selling a lot of winter baby gear and young kids' gear. She listed a load of hats and gloves and that sort of stuff today, and we sold a couple straight away. So, yep, all good. Have noticed delays in postage in the last few days. Oh, okay. I haven't had any problems with postage yet, touch wood. But yeah.
Hello.
Steve said, oh, there he is. Hello, mate. How are you doing?
How are you? Sorry for the delay.
That's all right.
Just got in, so just thought I'd grab a bite to eat. I was starving, so I didn't eat anything all day.
Not a problem. We've just been chatting amongst ourselves in the chat and taking questions. So
superb, superb.
And waiting for the start of the show to turn up.
Ha ha ha.
So how was it? I guess most people will have seen Zahir's video where he said that you did finally go for that job, where you've just come from. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
How's it going?
It's fine. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. You know, because there's nothing really bad to say about it. I'm pretty happy with it. It's perfect amount of hours. I mean, at the moment, I'm just doing like basic stuff, like just getting the hang of it, going in for a couple of hours, doing a bit of training. There's more training tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, I think I'll start like properly probably next week, as in my first actual full shift. But yeah, I mean, it is what I expected it to be, I suppose, or in a way a bit better than I expected it to be. So.
Oh, sorry, mate. I just had a third sale since I've been live. That's crazy.
That's pretty good.
Cool. Well, I'm glad that's all sorted itself out, and you think you know it's going to work out for you. That's good news, mate.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
We were just chatting in the chat. There's some interesting questions coming in. People want me to make a video following, like, from finding an item through researching that item, and then photographing it, listing it, all the way to packaging it and sending it out. So I might try and do that.
Okay, or like a full process.
Yeah, it'll have to be done over a week or two, depending on how long it takes to sell. But there you go. Oh, we got a troll.
Cool.
Someone's talking about trolls. What is it with trolls in these chats? Where's the troll?
Well, have we got a troll?
I haven't noticed yet.
If we do, we do. It's not the end of the world.
Steve reckoned you'd fallen asleep after having tea. Someone else said you'd ran off with MJ.
No, hi everyone. I'm just having a look at the chat now. Dead by exploding stomach. Yeah, I mean that's always a possibility, actually, Michelle. The amount I do eat is insane. Yeah, hello everyone. I can see a lot of people. There's 102 people watching already. So apologies guys for the late start, but I was so hungry. It wouldn't have happened. It just wouldn't have happened. It was one of those days where, like, you know, I think I'm almost feeling sorry for myself that I'm going back to work. So, you know, even though I'm only doing like 16 hours a week, it's just, you know, it's pretty awesome. And I made money while I was there, which is great. That always makes, as in not at the job, but like resell. Yeah, that's always fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's always fun.
We could always adjust the start time if moving forward that makes more sense. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know what fully my rota is going to be, etc. But I mean, you know, but all I know is I'm on the 16-hour contract. So I mean, I think they do it on 8-hour lots. So it's just going to be a matter of kind of just finding out what it is. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay. I've just had a question, or seen one rather. I think I'm way behind anyway. Fabian says, do you send your eBay orders signed or basic second class? I send pretty much everything second class unless they pay for more. And I tend to, this is only what I do, anything over £20 I do recorded. And any bulky stuff I send Hermes, and pretty much everything with Hermes I send tracked. Was that similar to, well, you use Hermes for most of your stuff, Zahir, don't you?
Yeah, I mostly use Hermes.
That tracked?
It helped. Well, yeah, I think it's tracked to standard, isn't it? So it
pay extra for sign for, can't you?
Yeah, no, I never pay for sign for, ever. I just, no, never pay for it. So no, tracked is fine. You know, it's tracked. That's all eBay require. eBay don't require a signature. You know, at the end of the day, if you believe that your item's been delivered and your tracking says it's been delivered, you don't need to pay the extra for a signature. And oftentimes a signature is just as useless as tracking, in the sense that, you know, people that want to argue their case will say, oh, that's not my signature, I've never seen it. So, you know, a signature becomes moot at that point, doesn't it?
So paying the extra £1 or whatever I've been paying is a waste of time, essentially.
I'm not saying it is, but I've never paid.
I get what you're saying. I'm agreeing with you, because to raise a claim with eBay, all you got to do is say, well, Hermes says it's arrived.
Yeah, that's that, and you win, don't you? Yeah, I mean, so it kind of, I don't see the point of it. One thing I've noticed as well, while we're on the topic, is like with shipping, I've noticed I've started to get a couple of sales where I wouldn't have gotten sales by specifically having postage for certain European countries. So rather than an item being GSP, where they have to pay your domestic shipping and then they have to pay the GSP shipping, because I've just specified like my shipping costs to that country. I've noticed I've had a couple of sales straight through, and I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting to note as well.
And is that with your international? Are you sending that all signed for?
It depends. I kind of play it by ear. I mean, if it's valuable, like I think I sent both the you know, those Juicy Couture Barbies I had.
Yeah.
I think I sent those recorded or tracked or something. I think I did. But I've sent other stuff, just standard And I think it comes down to how risk averse you are as a person, really.
Yeah, we had you know, so much stuff go missing going to Europe, going back a couple of years, and we just got so fed up with it. And I'm still kind of at that point. But GSP, we've discussed this before. GSP for me just allows me to sell internationally without all of that grief. I think I should really go back to, like you say, at least offering a track service, which may be cheaper and may get me more sales. But I'm still pissed off about all the stuff that never turned up before. So yeah, GSP is still doing its thing for me, and we're getting loads of GSP sales on silly things like I was saying before when we were chatting that Andrea's doing well selling winter kids clothes.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, even like a £5-6 item, a lot of going GSP, and it's like they're paying more than the item cost to get the item.
It's insane. We recently had a lady in Australia buy one of our stamps, you know, the craft stamps that you use to make cards. She paid £10 for the stamp, which is expensive for a stamp anyway, but it was a good stamp, so you know, it's a good stamp. But she paid £3 for our domestic shipping, and then I think she had like another £10 or £13 to Australia. And I'm like, for one stamp, I mean, that's just
stunning.
You know, I mean, they must want it. They really must want it. I mean, I think shipping's an interesting topic when it comes to like tracked or not tracked, and you know, things like that. But I really do think a lot of it is risk averse. Like you said, you've had a bad experience. If I had a few bad experiences, it may well do that to me as well. But again, you've got to look at it overall, like how many transactions are you processing over a year? And out of those, how many are you getting issues with? I don't think I think I can remember off the top of my head one item where a customer actually said the item didn't arrive. And in that particular case, I could have refused their claim because my tracking showed it was delivered. But out of just trusting the customer, and I don't know, like it was actually like a Bose remote control that I picked up for like £3. I think I sold it for like £40, so it's a fair bit of money. And the guy said, he didn't arrive. He was adamant. I just felt he was genuine, and in the end, I just thought to myself, really, I'm losing the shipping and a £3 remote control. I know it's sold for 40, and it's painful to see that 40 go out. On that occasion, even though I could have refused it, I was within my rights because the case would have closed in my favor because it showed shipped. In that occasion, I said no. Next time, I said, yeah, okay, you can have your refund. So I lost. You know, he may have got the item, but I like to think that I trust him, and I think he didn't get it.
Where was it? Was it in Spain, out of interest?
No, it was a UK sale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a UK sale. It was tracked. So that's my point, that you kind of have to play it and play it by numbers, I suppose. You know, like I gave that guy the free ride. Unfortunately, the next buyer that does that to me is not going to get a free ride. So even if he was the scammer and I get the honest customer, I'm probably going to be like, nah, let someone off last time.
Well, with my UK stuff, as I was saying before, I don't know, it's a lot of my stuff is over £20, but an awful lot of it is lower value, quick turnover stuff, and that all goes second class, no tracking, no nothing.
Yeah.
And I definitely play a game of numbers on that. Let's say out of 500, 2 or 3 go missing. They're that cheap, it really doesn't matter, and you just absorb that. That's my cost. But the whole international thing, also, it's quite a hassle, isn't it, with doing the whole tracked thing? I find it is anyway. It's a palaver, because with most of my stuff, I can bag it up, take it to the post office because it's all prepaid stuff, and drop it off. That just means I have to actually.
You can do prepaid on international, can't you?
Oh yeah, but it wouldn't be through my account.
Oh right.
My business account, which is so quick, and I do it in my sleep now. You see what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Essentially, Z, this is me being lazy and not sorting it out. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, obviously, I think at times like peak as well, you know, at Q4, you know, you're going to get a bit busier, I suppose, and you might find that things like this can just, you might get a couple of lost parcels because of the time of year, and it can maybe throw your opinion on it. So, you know, it is, again, like with so many things with reselling, everyone's different, every situation is different. You know, you've got to look at it in other ways as well. For example, if you're doing this part-time at the weekend or something and you don't make a huge amount of sales, then every sale or every return is going to matter that much more to you, because it's going to affect you a lot more. Whereas if you're doing lots of turnover, then you start thinking, is it in my best interest to be chasing this up, or to, you know, to be worrying about this, or, you know, kind of how much time do you devote to each thing? There's quite a few questions coming in as well. I'm just trying to get my head around some of them.
Yeah. Someone just said, don't pay the pound. That's going back to the track thing. So yeah, it's interesting because I've never kind of added that level of logic to it. I just went along with the thing I've done for years, which is, this is over 20 quid. I'm adding the pound. It's kind of without thinking the standard is tracked. That's just crazy, isn't it? So yeah, there you go. Something I've learned and I can save money on today. Fantastic. But I don't use movies a lot anyway, to be fair.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Did you answer Richard Payne's question about, he asked, what are your plans regarding the long-term FBA storage fees next year? Will you still send up or change the way you currently manage stock?
It doesn't affect me as much as someone like Tom, who I was chatting to about this the other day, whose model with FBA is totally different. And he has, as I'm sure many of you know, thousands upon thousands of long tail, like in the millions ranked books up there.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Tom's model is going to have to change, or he's going to have to do something like recall some stuff or try and get rid of a lot of stuff, because he will be hit hard for fees. I have way less stuff, and I tend to send up faster moving stuff anyway, so it won't affect my model much at all, I don't think. I do send up some longer tail CDs and DVDs and stuff. I may think twice about those or start merchant fulfilling those. But the storage cost on a single CD or DVD, because it's done by volume, it's not done by item numbers. It's done by the volume of the item, like the space it takes up. So they're going to be pennies anyway. So I don't know. I don't think it'll affect me a lot is the answer to that. But certain business models, like Tom's going to have a big think, I think, about how he, you know, what he does with his stock.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely about your the type of item that you send up. Definitely. I mean, and obviously if you've got, you know, really long tail items, and like you said, the volume, like if you've got thousands and thousands of slow items, then yeah, you're going to have to make some major decisions.
Exactly. You know, and that's why they're doing this, isn't it? It makes sense, because if let's say in the UK there's a couple of thousand guys with the model roughly like Tom's, that's a warehouse full of books that aren't selling. And and you know, I think Tom himself has said before, where Amazon aren't in the warehousing business, they're not in the storage business, they're in the selling business, and this is just them tweaking their system, isn't it? That's all it is. You know, FBA is relatively new, or at least it's taken off on a big scale relatively recently, and they're just seeing how it works. And we're kind of a few years behind America, and with the problems that they get, we kind of get a short while later, it seems. So yeah, it all makes sense.
Definitely.
I think for most of what I do, I'll just carry on the same way.
It'll be fine. Okay. Quite a lot of questions and comments. A lot of people saying hi, say hello to everybody. Really appreciate you guys joining us. I'm always humbled. We've got 120 people watching, Nick.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we need to ask early this time for you to guys. If you enjoy these chats, please smash the like button.
Smash that like button.
That's
definitely
the one.
You have to smash that like button, guys.
I won't try the accent. I'll just cringe.
I can't either, but I just have to. It's button. I just love it. It's just awesome.
Richard's just asked actually a question that came up. They were talking about it on Les's hangout the other week about, has anyone had a return of a GSP item and who has to pay to get that back? And I still don't know.
I've got a feeling it's you.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that GSP gets the item there. I think returns are like going to be, you know, for items not as described or something like that. it's going to be your cost. I think. I don't think
it makes sense.
Yeah. I don't think it protects you as much as people think. I think it protects you in the sense that you only have to get it to Derby and they send it tracked. And if it arrives smashed to pieces, you can claim through GSP. However, if then a customer receives an item and then says they've received it fine, but it's not what you said or whatever, then I think you end up having to take that hit.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Make the decision on whether you want it returned.
The problem ends up being like with that huge job lot of PS1 games, which surprisingly went to Australia, and they only had to pay like 13 odd pounds or something for the GSP part of it, which was dirt cheap for like 5 kilos of games.
Yeah.
But if they suddenly say, well, these aren't as good as you said they were or whatever, this was what I think Anthony was talking about in that hangout, then it's my responsibility if I want them back to pay to get them back. But I won't get that £13 price. That will cost me like 50 quid to get it back, which obviously won't be worth my doing. So I'll just tell them to keep it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I've not had that issue yet, luckily. So
yeah,
we'll wait and see. I'm sure it'll happen one day.
I mean, I think that I think the cool thing about foreign buyers, I mean, a lot of people do focus on the negative side of it. But the cool thing I found about foreign buyers is they're often the real collectors. They're the real. I mean, I think again it comes down to what you're selling as well, how much trouble you attract to yourself or not. But I just find that these are people that tend to want the item. You know, they really, and they're grateful to find someone that's willing to ship the item. I mean, I've sent stuff outside of GSP to like Czech Republic and Russia. I mean, Russians love puzzles, from what I know. I don't know why. Yeah, I've sold a few puzzles, I mean, to Russia, and they love receiving those. And you'll often get like a thank you or something along those lines as well. I mean, so, you know, the cool thing about shipping, I think, internationally is that things that are not valued here can sometimes be valued elsewhere. You know, like, for example, if you look at your PlayStation games, I really don't think you're going to have any issues there, simply because they have to pay through the roof prices for video games in Australia. So you'll often find that Australian buyers, gamers, will pay high prices, and a lot of the time they're frozen out of the market because GSP no longer covers video games. So they're looking for people that are willing to ship to Australia.
Yeah, that's interesting because this went on GSP and they were video games.
But I think it's because you listed it in the job lot category.
Yeah. But within video games in job lots. But yeah, I was surprised it went to Australia. But you're right with the whole video games thing. Because
PAL.
You can play PAL games down there.
They pay serious money. I mean, everyone probably has heard of the GGG gaming group.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll do like auctions within the group for, like, say if someone finds a bit of retro gaming, and rather than sell it on eBay, they often auction it. And they're not auctioning it in there out of the goodness of their heart. The people that are auctioning it in there know that there's a couple of guys in there from Australia, I think, who pay, you know, they will pay up, basically. They will bid each other up for these items, and sometimes they can get amazing prices in comparison to even eBay, minus the fees, minus all of that kind of stuff. So just something to think about.
Yeah. Someone's asking about how to sell to Europe on Amazon but store items only in UK centres. Well, that's what I do. I send my stuff to the UK centres, and then it's just a case of ticking boxes, essentially. Don't ask me exactly how.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to kind of enable to sell through. It's France, Italy, Spain, and Germany, isn't it? I think the Europe centres.
And if you haven't got a pro account, I think you actually have to manually go into edit each listing and put your price that you want to sell in each marketplace into the allocated price boxes. It won't do it because, you know, when you've got a pro account, you can just set your UK price, and then they automatically set your price in the other territories by a certain percentage or whatever. I don't think that's available if you just if you don't have the Amazon Pro account.
Okay. Yeah, I set my Europe prices a percentage higher than the UK because the fees are that much more as well. So to cover yourself, really.
Yeah.
Let's see where we're going. Darren says he's never had a GSP return because his items are also awesome. Fair enough.
Fair enough, Dan.
It's the switchers. Pro Seller says it's the switchers that are the worst. Downright despicable fraudsters. Oh, somebody's sending their knackered item back.
Yes. Not a great deal you can do apart from just take photos of the serial number, and if you show that automatically will put some people off.
I made a video about that it must be about 2 years ago now when I started, about selling consoles online.
Keeping the serials or at least taking a photograph. Most electronic items will have like a serial number on them, so but even that won't stop a determined person, because most of the time they're not after your case anyway. They're more after what's inside, so it's still not going to stop them from opening, taking something, and then sending back your correct case. So again, don't spend too much time thinking about that stuff. It's not worth it.
You can't make the scammers your focus, because it just throws your whole business.
They're such a tiny insignificant percentage. I mean, they're an insignificant percentage of people.
I would say do the basic things that can cover you for the basic scammers. Beyond that, make your focus the wonderful customers that pay up and love the item, because then otherwise you're just going to be a quivering wreck. You really are. And talking of which, actually, Darren's just said, does Q4 bring out the non-payers? Had 2 this week, totaling £240. I would say to an extent it does, because a lot of people will buy on eBay or Amazon at this time of year and not use it for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So they're inexperienced. A lot of the time they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand how the shipping works or how PayPal works. And you will get a higher percentage of people that are newbies. They might have just opened an account in order to buy that thing for their Uncle Billy or whatever, you know what I mean? And they just have no idea what they're doing. So I find that you end up with more problems, and you will get a higher percentage of returns afterwards for things that weren't suitable for gifting or whatever.
Definitely
be prepared for it, I'd say. Carla's expecting the return of a GSP item any day. No idea who pays. I wasn't asked to issue a return label. Okay, well that'll be interesting, Carla. If that comes all through and you find out who paid and how it all worked, just let us know in one of the chats, and I'll be really interested to find out. So I've got friends who don't care how much it is, they just want it. Yeah, a lot of buyers are like that. It's not, money isn't the object for some people. Someone's asked, what are you drinking, Z?
A bit of red, what is it, Iron Brew?
Not on the strong stuff yet.
No, too early.
Wow, there's loads of good chat going on. Carla also says, sold a pair of shoes, paid and posted, etc. Then a PayPal chargeback saying the buyer had contacted the bank and said payment wasn't authorized. This was overturned, and next thing, a return. So they were trying to get them for free, and now they're sending them back to get their money back.
Apparently, yeah.
Sounds like it.
You'll probably find that they'll never send them back. They'll probably give up on the idea. Unless they're really determined, because it's going to cost them a packet to send it, isn't it?
Amazon returns. Does Amazon pay for the return label, or do they charge your account? With FBA, it's all dealt with through Amazon. They deal with everything to do with shipping, as far as I know.
Yeah.
With merchant, I think it's down to you, isn't it? Do you cover that? I don't think I've had to do
I've never done much. Well, no, I've done one merchant fulfilled sale ever. I actually only opened my Amazon account like 2 years ago because I wanted to sell a copy of Getopoly. That was the
Yeah, I remember you saying
that was
about.
the only reason I opened an Amazon account was to sell Getopoli. That was the only thing I sold merchant fulfilled. And then I've not sold merchant fulfilled since then, just on the FBA. But um,
Yeah, I'm not sure with merchant fulfilled if you end up getting charged or whether they can, like with eBay now, they've got that whole returns procedure so they can print off a label and then it's charged to your account, which is, quite an efficient way of doing it, to be fair. I don't know that Amazon Merchant Fulfilled has that in place.
okay, so which question are we up to at the moment? Okay, the Carla's shoes. Question.
Do you ever, I'll just do this one from Tom quickly. Tom Sullivan, do you ever go through a normal shop, e.g. a toy shop, and scan all the items to see if they sell online for more? Yes. I love doing that. Tesco's is my favourite. But yeah, I do, not so much this year, but yeah, I do enjoy a bit of retail therapy.
Yeah. Well, like, you can often find some really good deals. I mean, I think I was in Asda the other day, and I think they were selling like really cool action figures, like WWE zombies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like so you got the Rock, but it's like a zombie version of him. So cool. I think they'd reduce them. I'm not sure whether it was to 10 or less, but I think it was £10 at most. But I think it may have been a little less. It might have even been £8 or something. And I'm pretty sure they go for decent-ish money on Amazon. I'm not sure, but just on their own, they were so cool anyway. I wanted to buy one, but Beck didn't let me.
Oh, did you not fancy it to send to FBA?
No, it would have been just for me. It was just too cool. They only had a couple, but I love those. Those WWE. There's a trend going where now there's zombie versions of everything, isn't there? So like they've now got zombie wrestlers.
Yeah, zombies are just the in thing.
Yeah, zombies are just
cool.
it's all about zombies.
And I suppose with the wrestling figures, it's like, what else can you do? Like
Yeah,
different coloured shorts or whatever. So yeah, make him a zombie. That'd be fine.
brilliant. Yeah. Let's have a look.
Someone's asked you a question. Diana says, "Can Z do a female-friendly, i.e., using easy technical language, video on how to test electronics and consoles?"
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I can do something along those lines. That's actually a good idea. Definitely, Diana.
Yeah.
I'll add that to the list.
If you need some electronics to test, you could just pop down for the day.
Test those VCRs you've got.
And I can film you. There you go. Job
Yeah,
done.
there you go.
It's
You
funny
can
because
sell those.
with videos and stuff, I really just do find it a chore. But if I've got the consoles, I will drop everything to set
Test the
those
console.
up. You know what I mean? Oh dear. What have we got in here? Would you mind explain? This is Jessica. Would you mind explaining the ranking on Amazon? Is it the bigger number you need to look out for? No, it's a smaller number. I see it as you remember the old chart show, number one is the best selling item or the best selling single. And that's how it operates on there. So the number one ranked DVD or whatever, that's the one that's selling bucket loads a day. Whereas number 5,000 or 50,000 is selling way less. So that's how it works on there. But it's also done, it's not an overall sales ranking. It's all done within the categories and it's all split within category. But yeah, the smaller number is selling better. John has received something that was fake, not what was in the description. Questioned the seller and had no reply. Well, you just need to go through eBay and open a case. And almost certainly they will end up in your favour. So how was your weekend, Zahir? Have you seen some good stuff?
It's been okay. I think I'm finding that like we're selling at quite a consistent level. Like even when I thought my October was terrible, when you look at it overall, like through the year sales, we've been pretty steady. and that's not always what you want. Obviously you want to see an improvement. I think definitely that's been because we've, especially since moving, we've been taking a lot more out than we've been putting back in terms of investing in stock. I think like it kind of makes you realize how important it is to to be buying all the time, really, to be feeding the beast, as they say. It's so important. I mean, we're doing okay. I'm not complaining, but I think definitely you can tell when you're taking out more than you're putting back in, because it makes the process of growing your business a lot slower. You'll still grow because obviously you're buying profitable items. So by the very nature, you're still going to be able to put something in and make more than you had. But because you're taking out so much more, you're just slowing yourself down. So that's where we're like looking forward. But it's been decent selling a few items. And the other thing
as
is,
for, so I was going to ask, as for through the winter months up there, do you have regular auctions that run right through winter? Because
I mean, I mean, the problem isn't the stock. The problem is like having enough cash to take advantage of the kind of stock that I want to. I mean, I want to start buying like more of the higher end type of items, so I need to have more cash available. Luckily, where I am, there's auctions. There's always fairs or your stock is. To be honest with you, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it doesn't matter where you live. There's plenty of stock. I mean, I really don't like hearing it's not where you live, it's you. And I think you could go anywhere and find stock. You might have to look differently, even online. I mean, just look at Young Ads. He's been sending stuff up by the bucket load to FBA, and most of the time he's not leaving his house for it. He's buying job lots of things off of eBay and flipping them on. So or even back on eBay.
I think the problem comes when, like we said before, somebody watches my videos, for example, and then says, "But I don't have 5 boot sales within 20 miles of my house, so I can't do this."
No,
that's so the wrong attitude. Because if I didn't have decent boot sales around here, I'd be sniping 10 times as much as I do now on eBay. I haven't sniped since those couple of videos I did a few months back, but I guarantee I've missed a load of stock. You see what I mean? But I've needed to.
The fact is, I mean, just yesterday I picked up off of eBay for £10 a local collection, a PS2 Slim with 2 controllers and 8 games. Yeah, the games are rubbish, but to pick up a PS2 Slim for £10, that's boot fare money as far as I'm concerned. Most of the time, that's what I would pay at a boot fare for a PS2 Slim, because you can get 35, 40 for them for starters. A controller alone, will get you decent money. So, and that's just off of eBay. I mean, just another example, I showed it in one of my videos. I bought a separate CD player for a tenner local collection that sold within a week for 35 plus shipping. So the stuff,
it's about taking opportunities, isn't it? I did a little sales roundup yesterday, and we on Sunday we went to a Christmas fair just because we wanted to go to a Christmas fair, and they happened to have a couple of bric-a-brac stalls. And I loaded in that video that I picked up a little stack of media. It turned out one of those Sims games was a limited edition one, and they go for £30 to £40.
Oh, wow.
And similar money on eBay. I was like gobsmacked when I scanned it in, because it was a limited, like some island adventure or something, and that cost me, I got 3 for £2, and the CDs turned out to be about 40 quid's worth. One was about 15, 16 pound, one was 20, the other was a 10 or so. It's just opportunism. And these little somebody told me what they're called, alpha bots. The guy that messaged me to tell me what they're actually called reckons they're really rare in the UK, so they could be a winner as well. So it's just about wherever you are, having that mindset of there's an opportunity waiting for me somewhere. And then grabbing it when you see it.
Definitely, I think it's a mindset thing, isn't it? Where I know for a fact that my issue isn't that there's not stuff around; it's having the right amount of cash. And even then I'm tailoring. It's not like I'm not sitting here crying. I'm just currently I'm buying within a certain price bracket because of what I can afford to spend on inventory. But when I have more cash available, I'll be able to buy in a different price bracket. So you just have to adapt to your particular situation, and also don't pigeonhole yourself into being a particular type of seller. That's not the right way to do it. Don't try to think about that. Just go for the blue whale plankton approach and just think, if it can make me a profit, I'll go for it. But also at the same time, you can't only have, for example, you can't just only have high ticket items, and you can't just only have low ticket items. You've got to have a bit of everything, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
It feels like we say this often, but it's true. I mean, I think I've just seen Ads' comment. He said, there's a lot of stuff online. I just sit in front of the computer, buy it now newly, refreshing every few minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah,
there's a business model in that. If somebody who is literally housebound, if they set themselves up with a Royal Mail account, had their stuff collected, you could run a successful online business housebound. I guarantee you. If you carve your own course, decide how you're going to do it, and then make it work. It's not about finding someone else who's done it and going, oh, how did they do it, and then copying. It's about deciding how you're going to do it and making it work. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's possible. There's a lot of going on.
And the way that you do it as well is important. So, for example, if you've got lots of boot fairs around you, then obviously you're going to go to the boot fairs because you're lucky and you've got lots of boot fairs where you live, right? You can get a whole bunch of stuff really cheap in one go. Why wouldn't you go? Okay, makes sense. If you live somewhere where there are no boot fairs, then you've got to look at what else is there. Is there a thriving Facebook page, a buy and sell page for your local area? Is there a busy Spock community? Do you have lots of charity shops around you? And if you've got charity shops, it's not going to be easy, but if you're willing to drive and go to a few towns, it can become fruitful that way. I think the people that struggle in charity shops tend to be those that maybe only go to one high street or two high streets. You've got to be prepared to go up to like 10 high streets. Like, you've got to devote your day to literally trudging around high streets. And I will say it gets tiring very quickly. Like, all it takes is you go in your first 5, or you go to your second town or your third town, you'll start getting demotivated at that point. And it's at that point where the difference between you and someone that gets the stuff will be, someone that gets the stuff will push themselves on through that feeling terrible kind of emotion. They're going to be, some guy's going to be at their 4th town, found nothing, legs are aching. It's a really small charity shop. There's someone with a buggy. There's someone with shopping bags, and it doesn't look like there's anything. And you're going to think, oh, screw it. I've looked in so many today. I've not found anything. I'm going home. Or are you going to go into that one? And I guarantee you, it's that shop that's going to have the best find of the day.
Yeah, charity shopping is much more like a lottery. And the way we don't rely on charity shops, but the way Andrea and I tend to do it is every now and again we'll say we're going to go to Cambridge for the day, and we make a day of it. So not only are we having a day out and we're going to have lunch by the river or whatever, you intertwine into that doing 20 charity shops, and then it's not so much of a chore. You're not totally focused on it and stressed out when you don't find anything in the first 5. So yeah, we that tends to be more of a summer thing for us, because I don't particularly like trudging around in the cold and wet, but the charity shops are still there and still open. So if that's your only source, you just have to bash out the miles and make it work.
Or that's when you look online. Everyone's got the internet, you'd hope.
Exactly.
So
I'm way behind in the chat. Ads dropped in. Everyone was saying hi to Ads. Paul says, hi, Nick. Fantastic. Just getting into this. A new reseller is born. Hi, mate.
Well, we've got 130 people watching.
Wow. Hi, guys.
63 likes. So, guys, smash that like button.
Yeah, if you enjoy these chats, just let us know by smashing the like button. It's becoming an obsession with us now.
and I'll be honest, it's just for ego. It's for ego. I just like seeing it.
Sean's in there. Hi, Sean. I enjoyed Sean and Kaz's hangout. That was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, was that yesterday? I'm losing track of time. Yeah, it was.
Yes, it was yesterday.
Cora's in there. Right. Someone's asked me, how do you get on selling on Etsy? Are they mostly overseas orders? You may have seen that whole video. I said in that I have nothing to do with Etsy. I'm not sure I've even logged onto the platform. And that's totally Andrea. And we don't get many sales, but that's reflected in the fact that we don't have much listed on there. Andrea got into it going back 3 or 4 years when we used to make our own craft items. We used to do a lot with Scrabble tiles and Lego cufflinks and Lego this and that. But even with that stuff, we found we would sell more and sell them quicker on eBay. So we dropped it. And now Andrea's just experimenting really. But we did have that Snoopy sale, which was insane.
Yeah.
Quick. Even with the money we lost on shipping, because we cut that up, we still made crazy money on a £1 plush toy. How are other platforms like Etsy and eBid? Well, Etsy, like I say, for us, we don't do a lot on there. And I think it's still in its infancy in this country. Nobody really knows about it. In America, I think it's doing, Margaret always talks about it, doesn't she? As for eBid, I have no idea. eBid, anybody?
I've heard the name.
Yeah,
But,
not a clue here.
Yeah.
How does tax and VAT work with selling in the EU? Well, you still have to pay tax on the sales, to be perfectly honest. VAT, it's only going to relate to you if you're over the threshold anyway. Do you bother to keep receipts for tape and packaging for the taxman? Well, of course you do. Yeah. You want to be able to claim back as much as expenses as you can, because it's just going to reduce your tax bill. So yeah, I keep receipts for anything I can claim off the business. It all adds up.
Definitely. eBid is slow. I've gone right to the bottom actually.
Oh, you're at the well, I'm way behind. I don't know how far I'm behind. Steve Green's in there. Hi, Steve. Good to see you, mate. He's saying to ads, I missed this conversation. If you believe you can grow a beard, it will happen.
Yeah, you just
I don't have that issue. Mine just appears overnight.
Oh gosh.
Oh, you've got to keep clean shaven now, Z, with your job.
Oh no, I don't. I'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate shaving with a passion.
I know, it's just not a cool thing to do.
Someone's asked, this is Muxy23. How long does the eBay / Amazon Christmas spending last? Up until December 25th. Pretty much, yeah. If you're on Amazon FBA, when they can guarantee sending things, guaranteed next day, those sales go right up to the last minute. With eBay, you'll see it drop off when last post has been and gone, obviously.
And then there's a little spending afterwards, though, on eBay, definitely, and I'm sure on Amazon.
Yeah, you get a couple of days where it really dies off in between last post and Christmas, and then as people finish work and have got time off, you see it pick up again through
Christmas Day can be quite a good day.
Yeah, definitely. And Boxing Day is great. On Amazon, particularly, I noticed it last year. Boxing Day and the next day, that little patch in between Christmas and New Year, Amazon FBA, whatever we had left up there was just flying out. People getting those Amazon gift tokens, I think. Let's see. Someone asked who keeps the GPS shipping fee? GSP, I assume you mean. Well, Amazon take all of it and they spend it on their shipping and keep whatever there might be left. You don't see any of that money because you don't deal with the international shipping. If you charge domestic postage and you get that to cover your postage, but the GSP bit, that's all Amazon's deal, so you don't see any of that money.
Yeah.
Oh, Carla answered the question anyway, so yeah. What Carla said. Someone asked, did you sell it, Z? Well, I don't know what.
That's what? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yes, that is the answer.
Of course he did.
Yes.
It's not tied down, Zahir will sell it.
Oh, God.
Do you think the Kachings will be better come payday on the 1st? Probably yes. Right. Have you got any questions at your end of the chat? I don't know how far behind I am.
I don't even know where I am now.
Oh, okay.
Any plans to use drones for delivery? Asked John O'John. Well, me personally,
You do like your tech.
yeah, I mean, a drone delivery. No, I don't think that's within my ability yet.
Did you see on like the One Show or one of those shows the other night? They're now in London, I think it was. Got these little robots that drive around to deliver takeaways, and they're controlled by guys in like Poland or something. Through the internet.
I didn't.
On GPS. It's like, wow.
I didn't. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I think it's all through justeat.com or one of those firms. It's like a big deal they've come out with.
Here's a question that comes up often, but it's worth it. Reselling, secondhand versus selling new from wholesale. Very much depends on your, again, where you are with your reselling and how much cash you've got. If you've got, like in my situation, I would go secondhand because that's what my funding allows. If you've got enough cash, then you can make really good money by buying, like a wholesale or doing retail arbitrage, which is what a lot of resellers do as well. So, but again, it's so specific, isn't it? And ideally, yeah, you could end up working towards having a bit of both. So you are selling secondhand goods, but then you're also dabbling in new. That's the ideal. And there's some people that do it very successfully. Nick, yourself as well, you're a great example of that. That you've got mountains of used tat, but you've also now got mountains of new tat as well. So
there's money in both. Regarding the wholesale question, wholesale as in traditional wholesale, what you'll find is the margins are so small, and you'll be competing against all the other people that can get the same stuff from the wholesaler or import
because they can buy more.
Exactly. So you get into it quite often with that stuff. You'll get into a rat race or race to the bottom to get those wafer margins. Whereas with RA that we're talking about, like seeing an opportunity, like with the NES minis or whatever, you will never get those margins where you can double your money through wholesale. You just won't. Or if you do, it's on a 50p item to double it up. You'll never get a £50 into £100 item that will double out just like that. So yeah, wholesale's great. I mean, I used to have wholesale accounts when we had the gaming shop, and our margins were wafer thin, and it was all about volume then. So it's a just totally different game. I wouldn't write out wholesale, but it's not something I do anymore.
Higgsy coming with another classic comment. In regards to using drones to ship things, Z is still trying to master the skateboard. He's a long way off a drone. Yeah, a classic Steve there. Very funny.
Someone, Retro Cable, says, Nick, you were 100% correct on waiting until the end of the boot sale. I got a vintage 4-track mixer for £1 on Sunday. Oh, nice one. At the end, bargains to be had. I owe you a beer. Someone else owes me a beer. Fantastic. Yeah, I've always said that. If you can wait around till the end, the trouble is where I am in the summer, there's several boot sales that are running at the same time, which is so irritating because I kind of have to whiz around and then get to the next one, if you know what I mean. But if you've got no other boot sale to be at and you've got nothing better to do, just have a burger, have a whatever and chill out for one and then go around at the end. And people, I've literally been given stuff at the end of boot sales. People are like, it's all going to the dump. Do you want this? Do you want that? And you just take a chance on stuff. But that was an epic find.
Nick, is that all that post behind you? Is that yesterday's or today's?
This is today's.
Oh, mental.
Yeah, I was saying before you joined us, I managed to sell one of each size tripod today on eBay.
That's sweet.
And I sent a load of those. Those are the really big ones.
Oh, right, okay.
You're doing
well, aren't they, the tripods?
Yeah. I sent the rest of the big ones to FB today as well.
I've never had new ones, but I've done well with like vintagey tripods as well. So if it looks really old, and again, especially with photographic type equipment as well, if it says made in Japan or if it's made in a European country, it's probably going to be worth a little bit of money. I mean, not loads. I mean, I've sold rusty old tripods for like 20 quid.
Oh wow, cool.
Quite
I
used.
did really well on just a random one ages ago, because it was so lightweight. I think it was aluminium, but it was
Yeah,
really well made. It was a
yeah.
quality.
The name that I think most people might be aware of, or if they're not, they will be now, is Manfrotto.
Oh no, so sorry.
Oh, another sale, bloody hell, yeah, Manfrotto's the brand that like, or
Okay,
Manfrotto, I don't know how to pronounce it. They're an Italian maker of they do a lot of things like photographic accessories. So if you ever see one of their tripods going, it's worth picking up because some of their tripods can be really, um, really good value, like
nice.
high profit.
I don't think I've heard of that name, to be perfectly frank.
Oh, okay.
Someone's question, Nick. In one of your videos, you recommend self-seal bags for CDs. Do you have a recommendation for self-seal PS1 bags? Uh, self-seal bags for CDs. I mean, I use Jiffy bags generally for CDs like that. What I did have for PS1 games were these. These are cardboard mailers, so they give that extra bit of sturdy cover. But I don't know if they're any better than Jiffy bags for PS1 games. But so yeah, I use those. I sent a load of PS1 up to FBA actually, and they've done really well up there, like secondhand ones. So I think I'll send more of my, because then also Amazon will cover it, the post wise. You know what I mean? If it gets smashed up in the post, it's not my issue then. VCRs go well on GSP, Nick. Sold 3 this month for good money. Okay. I need to get them listed. It will happen in the new year. Hopefully. What happened to the forum? No one ever mentions it anymore. I think it's still going. I don't think Mike has much time to dedicate to it anymore. Mike is the guy who set it all up. I just helped to promote it to everybody for him. But yeah, I haven't heard much from Mike recently, so I don't know. I haven't had time to pop in there either. But as far as I know, it's still active.
Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, it's still going. It's just, I think this is another interesting topic. Like for me personally as well, because you've got to be really kind of careful how you use your time, especially if you've got the attention span of a gnat like me. And Facebook groups alone, they take up so much time, and I've recently shrunk down to like nothing because it was just taking down too much time. I was in the groups and I was just in there all the time reading them and commenting on them because I love doing it, and I love the community. Kind of like Kaz was saying, like she loves the UK reselling group, but she's not in it anymore just because of well, she's got her reasons, and like she's concentrating on other stuff as well, and just work. And you've got to, it's a great resource to learn and it's a great community to be in, but if it's coming at the cost of you being productive, then you've got to really shrink that portion down. And like for me, I get so easily distracted. I mean, Nick, I mean, I just
Yeah, I'm the same. We're very similar, aren't we?
yeah, it's such a struggle. The struggle is continuous. So
I think every now and again we all have to, actually look at ourselves objectively and say, are we using our time productively? And my answer is usually no. And then I have to work out what I can change. But yeah, I have cut down a bit the amount of time I spend, like you said, just reading. I really enjoy reading what other people are doing, how they're getting on, etc. But you could lose half an hour to that, and that should be 4 or 5 listings, and then it's gone. That time never comes back. So yeah, I'm similar. I have cut down my interaction on Facebook.
yeah, not out of being less sociable or anything, but just just to concentrate.
So many hours in a day, and with YouTube and my own Facebook page, which I set up,
busy.
I get hundreds and hundreds of questions and comments every week, and I lose hours to that. So that's kind of takes up the time I've got to be interactive on Facebook most of the time. Just had a question, well, actually, probably about 20 minutes ago, I had a question from Cora saying, has Q4 kicked off for you guys? It certainly has for us. I don't think it's had as much impact on the stuff you're selling as it, Zahir.
It depends. I have sold some stuff because of Q4, I would say, but like some stuff at Amazon that I've got. But in terms of my eBay stuff, not massively. I mean, I did sell a till this morning, which is cool, but it's not really a Christmas gift, is it? It's more of a someone needed a till for their shop, so they bought it.
Was that the one you mentioned that he came and picked it up? Is that right?
No, I dropped it off actually.
Oh, nice.
It was local, so it was really cool. So it's like, yeah, job done.
I love that with bulky stuff because you just think, I don't have to package this.
I don't have to package. You know what? I don't get scared about packaging anything now. I mean, I've done like so many difficult items that it doesn't phase me now. I think there's very little that would probably phase me when it comes to packaging now. I'm like, I've done so many awkward shaped heavy items that
well, that puts you in a good position because just size and weight of things will put off half the resellers, you know what I mean? And then
completely
potentially breakable or whatever, that will put off a lot of other people. So you're, I think Martin Holgate was talking about this. He goes for stuff that other people wouldn't even look at.
Yeah.
And there's not much competition to sell it. It stands to reason.
It's completely true. I mean, I was recently at an auction where I was looking at two items of two electricals, okay, and one of them was relatively straightforward, really easy to ship, and had a good value, and then there was another bit of electrical kit, which was the small size, but it weighs an absolute ton. Like I think it weighs like 16 kilos, right? Guess which one got bid up to like a level where it's just not even. It was barely worth it. Obviously the light, easy one, and I got the one which is going to get me a lot more profit with barely any issue. Like it was, the difference was, I think I paid like £20 hammer price, and the other item that I was looking at went for like 55 or something along those lines. Wow. So that's a huge chunk of pure profit that you're just losing out on if you're not prepared. I mean, now I've got to think about shipping a 16 kilo item. And very dense, because it's not big, so it's just dense, extremely dense. But I don't mind having that problem.
Exactly. And you'll have an item that there'll be very few on eBay, and
the only one actually.
Hopefully it will sell quickly. Yeah. Someone was just asking a question I can answer quickly. Peter Ricks, how do you send used board games to Amazon? What I tend to do is I put just a strip of this packing paper around it and then tape it, just as a little sleeve around it. I've also used great big these bags, which are really good for big board games and things like Guitar Hero and stuff. But obviously there's more cost involved with these. But yeah, I wouldn't sellotape it down, because you're then just going to damage the product when they take it off. But I think some people do. I think some people send used stuff up and just tape it down, but that's not for me. I'm a bit fussy with things like that. Yeah, Darren said the same thing there. Don't tape it. Oh, someone else says the same. Yeah. Yeah, they're mentioning pallet wrap actually for wrapping board games up. I've never tried that, but that's probably a quick, efficient way of doing it. Like sort of, like cling film almost, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, some items you can't do that. Bear with me. I'm just having to quickly.
That's cool.
Okay.
Right, let me move on a bit and see. Yeah.
By the way, we've got 128 people watching and we've got 84 likes. So can I just say thank you to everybody in the chat?
That's a good ratio, isn't it? That's our best ratio for a long time.
It's fantastic. 89 thumbs up. So I'm hoping that everyone's enjoying the chat. I know we're a bit kind of, we do wing it. I think that's the term that we use a lot, isn't it, Nick? What should we do for the show? Should we wing it? Yeah, let's wing it. But we hopefully
messaged each other and just said, "What are we doing on the chat? I don't know. What should we do? Wing it." Yes.
but hopefully you guys still get a little bit of kind of entertainment and a little bit of information as well. And we love doing it. And wow, just saying that has shot it up to 98 now, Nick. So People
Wow.
are smashing that like button. So that is
100.
yeah, I will definitely get there. I'm sure of it. So where are we up to on the questions? So guys, get those questions in with the
Reading
capital
through.
question.
Um,
Oh, here we go. Here's a question from Dennis Donko. Have you answered that at all or not?
no, I don't think so. Go for it.
He do you have any tips for me to compete with sellers in the UK and the US since my shipping costs are higher because I'm based in Belgium? That's a good question, actually. It's it's always going to be hard in terms of shipping. I mean, you can always see whether is the GSP available there. I mean, I don't know whether they offer it as a service there. If they do use GSP, you can do that. Don't be afraid to ship to other countries, just that other people won't ship to. But in terms of what else you can do, I would say maybe do some research on something that may be plentiful in Belgium, but is sought after elsewhere. I mean, is there any kind of specific, niche or something that's available? It's difficult because I don't know obviously Belgium very well at all actually. But my thinking would be you've got to look at what strengths you might have, and you've got to have something that's unique to you that isn't going to be readily available elsewhere, and maybe look to sell that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if there's something that's readily available in Belgium that people can't get in the US or whatever, then
People
capitalize.
collect all kinds of stuff, don't they? I mean, people collect all kinds. I mean, it could be World War II memorabilia. I don't want to go into any specifics because I'm ignorant to it, to be honest. But just anything that you might be able to get hold of more regularly than someone else. So there's a lot of people out there in the States that will love to get hold of that kind of memorabilia, but they're not going to find it as easy as someone in Europe, as an example. I don't know.
An interesting one. Jono said, "Oh, I echo then." He said, "I noticed shells and boxes in your background. I assume he's talking about me. Do you practice the Japanese 5S to compartmentalize everything and keep them in their proper place?" Now, you're getting the wrong impression of this. I sort of know where everything is, but as for feng shui or whatever,
You just yeah.
it's organized chaos. That's how I live my life, and that's how my office is laid out. Another question.
Daydream Carer question: why doesn't it get into so many fights when he's outsourcing? So many of his videos seem to have altercations with other people. Would you like to answer that, charge from Daydream Carer?
It's a rarity. That's why I mention it.
Yeah.
I've been threatened once at a car boot sale by some obnoxious twat, which I've mentioned several times. And then that guy at the Jumble just had a right go at the pair of us. But no, it's not a common thing at all. If you ever meet me, you'll realise I'm just a smiley, happy guy, and I don't like altercations or confrontation at all. So
yeah,
it's not a common one.
Yeah, definitely not.
I think it was Daydream Carer who was being a bit obnoxious in Caroline's chat and saying that all resellers are idiots or whatever. As a point of thing, I have a degree. Tom has a degree and a master's degree. Caroline's got a degree. So let's just leave that there, shall we? I think you yourself have, don't you?
No.
Oh, okay. Z doesn't.
I got no degree. I don't know.
Andrew does. There's another one.
Yeah.
Sorry if I got the wrong person, but somebody was saying.
Yeah. No, I think it was actually Daydream Carer, but he's being decent, so he's actually asked another question. What do you guys think is the evolution of online selling?
Ooh, good one. Well, FBA has been the big sort of game changer for online reselling, and I think that will continue. I think eBay have kind of made little steps into that, haven't they? About people being able to send stuff to a center and have someone else deal with it for them. That seems to be where eBay wants to take things, but I don't think that's going to work.
But then it's backfiring a bit on Amazon as well, isn't it?
What, for Amazon, you mean?
Yeah, it's backfiring. In a way, if they're sending stuff back, I notice now that they pop up with warnings telling you that your item is slow selling, and there's UPS lorries backed up, and they're blocking lines. So in a way, I think they do want it, but they want the good stuff, is what they're saying. They're saying, send us the good, fast selling stock. We're happy to store and ship that for you, but don't send us your niche items. And I think that's only going to work in eBay's favor.
Yeah, I think I was talking about this a bit. I think before you joined us, that FBA is as much an experiment for Amazon as it is everyone else, isn't it? They're learning on their feet as they go, and I think they've just realised that they're ending up with tens of thousands of books or whatever that are just never going to sell, and they're having to readdress the balance, which makes perfect sense because they're not in the storage business.
One thing I would say is, like, I love this guy called Jim Rohn. He's like one of the best motivational speakers of all times. And like one thing he said is, like, he used to get asked this question an awful lot. Like, what do you think the next 5 years or the next 10 years are going to be like? And he used to get asked this question by like corporate boards of companies, executives. And his answer was brilliant. And it's going to be about the same. Online selling is selling, just reselling. It's always going to be about the same. Your method, your platform may change. What you sell will change. What's considered an antique tomorrow is going to be different to what's considered an antique today. What's considered hot tomorrow is different. What's considered hot today. But overall, it's going to be about the same. And nothing's going to change much. It's more about you adapting to those small, different little changes within the whole reselling. I mean, I don't think reselling in any form is going anywhere, really.
No, as long as we have, as long as there are physical things that people want,
which they will,
yeah, and you're able to find a way of getting them for this price and sell them for more. That's all reselling is. So it's here to stay.
Yeah.
Someone just asked me, it's Daydream Care again. I can't find a box big enough for Hero Quest. How did you pack it? Well, I sent mine to Amazon FBA, so I didn't pack it. I put it in a big box with a load of other board games. And
you've got to keep that question for Sean when he sells his copy.
Yeah. That's one of the real beauties that I am thoroughly enjoying with Amazon. I mean, today I put a shipment together, and because it was only a few lines of this new stuff, it was literally took me half an hour, and that was like 50 items gone. Whereas if I'd had to package those, if I'd sold them all on eBay and packaged them, that's like half a day's work, if not a full day's work. And it's like, that's the difference. And when you start doing FBA in a bigger and bigger way, you just see how much time you're saving. And I know a lot of people berate Amazon for the fees, but that's what you're paying for. And I can see that so much clearer now than before I started Amazon. The benefit of the time saving and the hassle saving. So yeah, works for me.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's what works for you. It always comes down to that, doesn't it? What works for you.
Exactly.
Some people.
Oh no,
there's another one.
On fire.
Bloody hell.
35 quid for a Nike gilet.
A gilet?
Yeah, that was a jumble pickup for like next to nothing, I think.
Awesome.
We must have hit 100 ages ago. Lots of people were going, yay, 100, yay, yeah. 101.
106, yeah.
John is still talking about is Japanese have 5 steps, which all begin with S, to do housekeeping and keep everything in their proper place. Yeah, I think I'm a lost cause with that. I'm too scatterbrained. I start doing something and then my brain goes, oh, but I was going to do this. And then I leave this and then I'm over there doing this. And then I have like Zahir was saying, attention span of a gnat. I'm just far too scatterbrained. I do need to work on that. Jay said, help. Sold an item, then noticed damage. Informed buyer within 15 minutes of purchase, no response. So mailed damaged item. So mail damaged item, refund and absorb $10 in shipping, or cancel, which might ding my account.
Oh,
Yeah, tricky. I would keep messaging them and then maybe contact eBay and explain the whole situation. So right from the get-go, eBay know something has happened that you're aware of, you're trying to rectify it, but you've contacted eBay to help, and then they can sort it out. And then it's all on record that you tried to do your best to solve it. And if you get negative feedback or if something comes of it, they should, deal with you fairly then, I would say. So when I've had really complicated things like that or annoying things, I tend to just ring up eBay and say, help, I've cocked up, or something bad's happened. That would be my suggestion. I don't know what you'd say, Zahir.
yeah, it's a difficult one because you obviously don't want to get a ding on the account. So communication would be the best thing. I mean, if you just cancel it without mentioning it, it if you cancel the transaction, you're going to rub someone up the wrong way there, I think. So, you know, even sending it is, now that you've sent the message, you're just going to incriminate yourself by sending the item as well. If I've understood it correctly. So your only real thing to do is to keep messaging and wait for a reply.
Yeah, I'd say that if you're just going to go for one of those two options of not sending it or sending a damaged item, I'd go for the not sending it. Because, you're only ever going to end up with problems if you send a damaged item, which is not as described. That would seem the worst of those two, but I'd get in contact with eBay. If you can't, send him lots of messages saying, hell, this has happened. I'm trying to let you know. I'm trying to sort it out for you. So, because eBay can see all of those and they can see that you've made the effort, and then contact eBay and say, I've got this problem. I can't sort it out with the buyer. What do I do? And they will talk you through it. Lots of chat going on. Well, I don't think I've seen the chat this busy for weeks.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Hicksy's got a degree as well. A degree in the art of drinking Fosters. Hey. Top man. Love Hicksy so much.
Okay.
Question, do you have a lot of things that you buy that you don't share with the masses? Some, not lots. I used to just talk about absolutely everything. Now there are a handful of bits and bobs I don't, which I think is fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think with Amazon, definitely you've got to be careful because it's selling something that's readily available, and if you look at the two platforms, if you're selling something that's readily available by anyone, and the only thing that differentiates what you get, like who gets to sell is price, then obviously you don't want to talk about that. When it comes to eBay stuff, I kind of think that yes, by sharing, you're making it so that it's possible that it's going to become harder for you to find certain things. But is it really going to affect you? I don't know, because I think it all comes down to your mindset and people that are. I'm happy to share things because I'm always looking for new things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think there's a never-ending supply of things to look for. So I feel comfortable sharing whatever I pick up. I don't think there's anything that I haven't shared really. And funnily enough, it's not stopped me from finding stuff. And I often look at the guys over in America where, yeah, it's a bigger country, but it's got that much more competition as well, right? So it's a bigger country, bigger charity shops, bigger garage sales. I get all that, but there's also that many more resellers. And I think generally as well, people over there like to hustle more than over here. So it's a more done thing anyway. And yeah, it doesn't stop the resellers. I mean, look at Craigslist Hunter. I know he's got a shop, so people bring him stuff, but that could work against him as well by being online and being so open about his business. He still does it. We had Bonafide Hustler on here. His attitude was just astonishing. What he said that I think that stuck with me as well was, you would have to be extremely unlucky, because you're only really losing something is if you happen to be at the same sale at the same stall and have the same knowledge and have the same, like, you've got to be the same level of risk averseness as well. I mean, that's why sometimes you see people put things down, or you're willing them to put things down, and you'll happily pay double what they're paying for. That's why you'll be so. That's my,
The few things to qualify what I was saying, the few things that I don't openly share tend to be very niche lines that I'm selling on Amazon FBA, because Amazon FBA is a totally different animal to eBay. And eBay stuff I share willingly, and I always have done. And I've never been scared that I'm going to suddenly have a gaggle of my followers at a car boot sale chasing me around.
Yeah.
Well, there's been quite a few people that have met me at boot sales, which is weird. But with FBA, it wouldn't. Some of the things I'm talking about, it's like it would only take 2 or 3 people to find out about particular items, and that one page with that one item on gets overcrowded, and the price will tumble. So I'm precious about, I'd say, 4 or 5 items.
That's exactly it. I mean, the other thing to notice as well is some things have got an intrinsic value, right? Like, just because everyone knows about, like, for example, the Mewtwo camera, which, by the way, I wasn't the first person to share in the community. That props goes to Yorkshire Reseller for that. I mean, everyone always says thanks to me and stuff, but it was actually Yorkshire Reseller that mentioned it, and I was like, wow, that's an amazing. But the reason why the Mewtwo is expensive is because it's rare. We've now shown more people what it is, so they're going to be able to see it. So if they're there before you, they will get it. But I'd say, yeah, you're right. They'll get it if they're there before you, because they were there before you, so they deserve to get it, right? It's competition. But the value won't tumble. If anything, it's going up because it's got intrinsic value. You're not talking about the latest wrestling figure line at your local Tesco or your latest Nerf gun. You're talking about a camera that's been long out of production, okay, that most people have probably binned or skipped, and there's only a few out there. So the challenge is go out and get it.
I think
if you don't get it,
like with that camera, there's a limited amount out there. They are a rare-ish item. So the market, it's going to struggle to flood that market anyway, aren't you? Because there's a limited supply of those. Like with me rabbiting on about Hero Quest all the time.
Yeah.
There's not many out there. So that's going to keep its value. Even if everyone I talk to finds one next week, the market still isn't going to be affected.
I think the bright people have. Yeah, I think the bright people have, though. Oh, go on. I've just cut you off twice.
I was going to say, in contrast to that, I would say the things I've seen been affected are things that people just weren't aware of, but are really common, and you can flip them easily. And through myself and others sharing those more common things that everyone can find in a charity shop, everyone is likely to find most weeks at a car boot sale, those have affected the amount that's just on eBay. And then the trouble then becomes if those people start fighting to get the sale. You see what I mean? Because then prices will drop. But
again, there's no intrinsic value to those items. I mean, something I think the gripe people have with things like sharing like the Mewtwo or whatever would be that, now if only a few people knew about it, you'd have a better chance of finding it, which is true. So I can see that point. Yeah, more people know now. So you might find that you find them less. But I'm sure if you go out there and I mean, the funny thing is that the last Mewtwo I found was at a boot fair where Hixie was in front of me, and he walked past the same stall, and there was actually another reseller as well at that boot fair that I knew of. God knows how many others. None of them found it. I still found it after them. So it's because I bothered to look in the boxes. So it just
exactly.
It swings and roundabouts. So I'm good with sharing overall, to be honest. I just enjoy it.
You and I both have sort of flip-flopped about this whole discussion. Should we be sharing? Are we being daft at even talking about what we do? And I've kind of found a middle ground where I share 90% of everything I do, and I keep a handful of niches back to myself. And everybody's on a different level of that scale. You know, we talked to Caroline about this. Caroline sees it slightly differently now and is restricting a certain amount of what she talks about, which is absolutely fine. And Sean as well. Tom is sort of deciding what he wants to share. And everybody is, you know, totally free to do. Did I get an echo again? I keep hearing a little bit of echo. But everyone is free to decide what they want to do. And if it's free country anyway. So if we want to, that's it.
Exactly. Not everyone's going to be comfortable, and you shouldn't really be, you know, it shouldn't be a problem whether it is or it isn't shared, or, you know.
I don't know how we got onto that whole debate again. That just naturally formed.
It just naturally comes up. It's been coming up for years.
Yeah.
We've probably talked about it about 1,000,000 times.
I don't think it'll ever go away. Well,
Yeah.
let's see if we can do a few questions. I've just noticed it's 7:45.
Yes.
Wow.
That's
I don't
quite
want too much of your precious time, buddy. Question: is it worthwhile learning what all these marks and symbols mean on the bottom of pottery? I think you've got a lifelong task if you wanted to learn all of those. So, but yeah, all knowledge is helpful. What were you cracking up about? Did something in the chat?
Yeah, Hicksy says I don't effing miss them now.
You taught him well.
He's legend. Bless. Hicksy's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
UK reseller. Question to Z and Nick and anyone else: you have to keep certain things hush hush and do share stuff that helps others. I'm not sure that's a question. I think he was just agreeing with us. Yeah, but like we're saying, it's just personal preference, and if you want to share. If you don't, then that's you.
Exactly. No, there are rights and wrongs to each of them, actually. I mean, in a way, there are. I'm not afraid to admit that there's there's bad points to both and there's good points to both. The good points are, like, if it wasn't for sharing in the first place, I wouldn't have gotten onto this, and it wouldn't have, you know, changed my life in a positive way, and I'm really happy about that, and kind of makes me feel like I've got to pass it forward. Yeah, the bad point is, yeah, the more it gets shared, you know, yes, it may become more competitive, but I always think that to counter that, there's always something, you know, look for tomorrow's Mewtwo is what I would say. Figure out what's going to happen next, or don't just, like, I'm not going out looking for anything in particular. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I buy the most random stuff. I mean,
also,
you know,
I think people get swept up in the whole sort of doomsday scenario of sharing. Like, all of a sudden, everybody in the country is going to be doing this. It's just so not a reality that's ever going to happen in the slightest. Half the people in the country, the thought of picking up secondhand stuff and then selling it on eBay, it's just, you know, they wouldn't even touch it with a barge pole. So that rules out half of the population. The other half are too busy doing a 9-to-5 job. Fair enough. You know what I mean? It's like, it's such a wafer thin amount of people that would consider doing this or want to do this. And then even less of those are watching YouTube videos. So
and the proof is in the pudding. Every time I go out, I still find stuff in, you know, if you go to an auction room, the room is full of resellers, right? You go to any auction house in the country, it's going to be full of resellers.
Go to any jumble it is.
Yeah, full of them. You know, you can't get any more resellers than if you go to an auction, right? Charity shops, there's nothing. Go to an auction, it'll be crammed with resellers. Yeah, you will walk out with deals. Why is that?
Well, I've been reselling, as you know, since way before YouTube existed. And a lot of the guys who were there queuing up to get in the same boot sales that are still there today were there then. And, you know, there was a queue of 40, 50 people in the really big ones that I go to, queuing up, all resellers, to get in, you know, 10 years before YouTube existed. And it's not like the line is now 300 or 1,000 long. It's the same hardcore group of people. You know, it's... But there we go. We still haven't got off that damn subject. Oh, dear.
Here's a question. Zahir, out of 10, how much colder do your cheeks get now you live up north? Darren, that's a good question. I would say, at least 9 out of 10 times. It is freezing. It is freezing, but I'm getting used to it.
It's all right. It's cold down south, mate. You know.
Of course it is. Exactly. That's the thing. It's just
Um,
I'm going by the layers technique now, like 2 t-shirts and
oh yeah, I do that all the time.
yeah, 2 t-shirts and
Yeah, another one, Nintendo.
exactly. Yeah.
Carla says that's so true, Nick. All my mates think what I do is crazy. So there you go. It's not even on a lot of people's radar. It's not like. I mean that the doomsday scenario
We're
is
getting back on it.
Oh man, yeah.
No, go on. Finish saying what you want to say, and we'll draw a line.
What the scenario that I think people worry about is that so many hundreds of thousands of people are suddenly going to go, oh, that hero quest in the loft is worth £100, and all go and find it.
No,
not going to happen. And
no.
Most of those will at some day end up on a boot sale or in a charity shop. It's just how it is. And
I think it's okay. I was going to say yours was going to be the final word, but because I'm a gobby bastard, I think I have to have mine. If you guys want to check out Jason T. Smith over in the States, when that guy got commissioned a TV series specifically about thrifting from garage sales and thrift stores, as they call them, and specifically about selling them on eBay, and they glamorized it to the extent that I saw an episode where they picked up a t-shirt and he sold it he listed it in the shop, photographed it in the shop, listed it in the shop, and sold it on eBay before he had even finished queuing to pay for the t-shirt. They glamorized it to this extent. There was 2 series of the show, and the lash back, that like the kind of hate that guy got for this, and the worry that guy got, like, you know, just the headache he would have gotten from doing that show. And guess what? It's finished. It's done. The world hasn't ended. You can still go to a garage sale and buy a box full of tat and make good money on it, as those American resellers are showing day in, day out. So that is my final word.
Yeah. He's a fascinating guy. I remember watching Margaret chat with him. Those guys get on so well. They're hilarious to watch. So I'd love to try and get him on at some point.
Yeah.
That would be brilliant. I think Jason is a really, he explains things really well, and he's a really great. He comes across really well as well. He's really fun to watch. So but yeah, certainly check him out. Anyway, we have rambled for way too long and used up too much of your precious time, people. Thanks for sticking with us. If you're still here, we've got 115 people viewing.
Yep, 112 likes.
Smash that like button if you haven't already. I have no idea what we're on now.
112, Nick.
Oh yeah, 112. That's damn awesome. 4 thumbs down. Oh well, whatever. Happy days. There was 1 thumbs down before. I scheduled it about 10 minutes before we started. There was a thumbs down instantly. Like, yes, come on. Right. Okay. One question before we go. Mrs. H. Question, Nick, is Andrea allowed to touch your stock in that tat cave? It's not like she's not allowed, but she doesn't venture in here that often. She has her own tat cave at the back of the house.
Very own personal tat cave.
Yeah, full of kids' clothes and fun toys. Okay, well, thanks ever so much, Zahir, for chatting with me. I'm glad work's going well.
Oh, yep, definitely, as usual. So.
Fantastic.
Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for the massive thumbs ups that are coming in. We're up to 118. Yeah, really enjoyed the chat as usual, Nick.
Good stuff. I don't think I've got anything planned for next week. I will try and sort something out, try and get a guest on if we can. And then look after yourself, buddy, and I'll speak to you soon.
See you later.
Take care.